And that's what I think happened in 2022 and 24. People are like, I don't like Gallego, I don't really like Hobbs, but I just hate Lake. What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back in with a new video, and I hope everyone is having a great day. I'm having a great day myself, and before I get into it, don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends, and of course, join the channel today. These are all great ways to support the daily content, but enough of the promotional stuff. Let us get into it because we have major news out of the state of Arizona as Congressman Andy Biggs has just filed paperwork to run for governor of Arizona in 2026. Yeah, that's right. Andy Biggs, who most people would agree is one of the most conservative House Republicans, just announced, or I should say filed, that he's probably going to run for governor in 2026. And if he in fact does run for governor, I 100% endorse Andy Biggs for governor of Arizona in 2026. Andy Biggs is basically perfect on most issues. He's an immigration hawk. He's just, as a whole, a great congressman. Now, I want to talk about the governorship in Arizona because I know this is going to be very controversial because Andy Biggs is known as a very conservative guy, and a lot of people are going to say, oh, he's unelectable. He can't win Arizona. There's no pathway for him. He's unelectable. And we have to get stuck with Karen Taylor Robeson yet again. Now, listen, I want to be clear that I am not saying that Andy Biggs is going to win by 50 points. And I'm not going to come out here and say that Andy Biggs is a guarantee to win. But, guys, this idea that Andy Biggs is unelectable, he's the second coming of Kari Lake and all that crap, is bullshit. Like, I understand some of the concerns with Biggs, like, oh, we ran Kari Lake in 2022 and 24, and we all know how that went. It was a disaster. She lost two very winnable races because, well, she was not a good candidate. And I would argue that's not because she ran as a far-right Republican, which I'm not denying some of the issues she ran on was stupid, like, you know, the election stuff. Listen, election integrity is fine to run on, but what Kari Lake did was make that her entire campaign. That everyone, when you think of Kari Lake, you think of election integrity. That's the only thing you think about. 2020 and 2022. You don't think about anything else. But outside of that, Kari Lake, I would argue, was just unlikable. She had an unlikable personality. I mean, she was trying to be Trump in Arizona. That's the honest truth. She was trying to copy and paste what Trump did so good for years. The problem is, it only works for Trump. Trump's the only politician, not just Republican, just politician anywhere that can get away with acting like the way he does because he's Donald effing Trump. Kari Lake tried to replicate that, and yeah, it helped with a base of voters. Like, yeah, that helped with them, but it hurt her with everyone else. People are like, oh, this is fake. This is cringe. This sucks. It's like, wait, do we really want this as our governor or even senator? That's why I believe Kari Lake did so bad. Not just because she ran as a far-right Republican, which I have some questions about that. I mean, in 24, she was saying, yeah, I'm pro-choice. I'm pro-abortion. I support the right to choose. Choose what exactly? That doesn't sound like a far-right political position, and we all know what happened. Despite the fact Trump won the state by, what, 5.5 points? She lost. She lost to Ruben Gallego. Even though Kari Lake tried to outflank Gallego on this issue, it failed. So listen, we'll get to the whole abortion stuff in a second, but I really don't think it was just because Kari Lake ran at some being a far-right Republican. Some of it, yeah. But it's more so, I just think Kari Lake was just unlikable. That's the biggest reason. And in Arizona, that's a big deal. If you're not likable, like these voters, they're going to vote against you. If they don't like you, they're just say, screw you. We're not going to vote for you. And that's what I think happened in 2022 and 24. People are like, I don't like Gallego. I don't really like Hobbs, but I just hate Lake. That's the honest truth. That's what I think really happened with Kari Lake. Now, compare that with Andy Biggs. Do you really think Andy Biggs is like Kari Lake when it comes to personality? No. I mean, people know who Andy Biggs is. He's definitely more, quote-unquote, controversial. But That's more so because of certain things he said in the past about certain issues. It's not, oh, his personality is bad and people hate him because he's unlikable. It's just, oh, he said some stuff about abortion or whatever that some people find to be unelectable. And I'm not denying that. Listen, I'm as pro-life as it comes. I personally think it's murder, all right? But at the same time, you gotta be smart about it. Like, you cannot just say tomorrow, yeah, we gotta ban all abortions, no questions asked, no exemptions. Like, in a perfect world, we wouldn't need abortions. Like, again, I think it's murder. But right now, it's not viable to go right for a complete ban on everything. We have to slowly work our way towards that. And, well, many Republicans, they did not understand that. They either said nothing about the issue, which was dumb. That just gave Democrats free rein to say, oh yeah, you're pro-life extremist, you want to ban all abortion, you want to lock up women. That's what Democrats ran on. But at the same time, you had Republicans like Tudor Dixon say some very dumb stuff about abortion, and it killed her. Well, Andy Biggs is very pro-life, but I think after 2024, Republicans, I think they found their message, and we got to see what happens with Biggs if he runs on this, but Trump perfectly dealt with the issue of abortion. He dealt with it perfectly, all right? He said, leave it to the states. I'm not gonna ban abortion after a heartbeat. But by the way, hey Democrats, why do you support late-term abortion? All Trump did was spin it, say, hey, Democrats, they support abortion up to birth. They support abortion in the very late stages of the pregnancy. That's just a fact. That's what Trump did in 2024, I should say, and it worked. Even back in 2016, that's what Trump did. And Republicans are still so dumb that in 24, they did not do that. But now I do think you're going to see more Republicans. They're going to start running on, hey, Democrats, they support abortion up to birth. Well, why is that? Why do you support late-term abortion like that? I would hope the Republicans do that, but this is the GOP. But either way, if people are so worried about Andy Biggs on abortion, which is one of the biggest complaints, like, oh, his voting record's very pro-life, which I would argue voting records, people don't really care about. I'm just being honest. Like, outside of very specific things, the average voter, they're not going to look up your exact voting record on a certain bill. They're not. They're going to look more like, oh, what you said about abortion. They're going to say, oh, he said this about abortion, which, yeah, Biggs did say some quote-unquote controversial things about it. But if we're going to claim that Andy Biggs is unelectable because of it, well, we should apply these same standards to the quote-unquote electable candidate, Karen Taylor Robson. Yes, the same lady that ran against Lake in 22 that basically ran as a liberal Republican on most things. She is the electable Republican. She is electable. She's going to win Arizona by 30 points. That's why we need her. Well, here's a problem with Robson. If you think Biggs having a pro-life record, again, he said some stuff about abortion that he has to be careful with, but if you think that automatically disqualifies him, what about Robson? Karen Taylor Robson in 2022, during the campaign, she publicly said that she would enforce Arizona's pre-Roe abortion ban, which would criminalize the action in most circumstances. Yeah. The electable Republican said in 22 that she would support the pre-Roe abortion ban. In Arizona, that was one of the most strict abortion laws in the entire country. Now, I know this was a couple years ago, and this was during 2022. This was during the peak of the issue of abortion. In 2026, I highly doubt the issue of abortion is going to be as prevalent. It really wasn't in 24, even though the CARES campaign, they tried to make that the issue of the campaign, and it didn't work. Well, not only is the issue not going to be as relevant, is this electable? She made a statement saying this. In fact, Taylor Robson, look at what she said about 2020. I mean, you think Carrie Lakes is a bad stuff, which again, she said some stuff that people claimed hurt her. Robson said basically the same thing. I'm not going to repeat what she said here because of YouTube, but you can read it right here. I mean, just read this right here. This is exactly what she said in 22. So I don't want to hear this crap that, oh, Biggs is unelectable because of abortion. Okay, it might hurt him a little bit, but if he's unelectable because of it, What about Robeson? And now these people are going to say absolutely nothing. They're going to say this never happened, that, oh, this doesn't actually matter. Really? So this doesn't matter. What she said about abortion in 22, which Democrats would run 24/7. And they're going to run on abortion no matter what. I don't care what Republicans say. They're going to run on the issue no matter what. It doesn't matter if it's Robeson. It doesn't matter if it's Biggs. It could be Charlie Baker. And these people would run on abortion no matter what. So this idea that he's unelectable because of it is bullshit. But we'll just keep going. Okay, so Andy Biggs, he's unelectable based on what? I mean, his track record in elections is actually damn good, which, okay, I know people are going to make a big deal about this because you can't really necessarily compare a congressional race to, say, I don't know, the presidency. I understand that. It's not a perfect comparison, and it does sometimes blow up in our face. Look at Mark Robinson in 2020. He did better than Trump in North Carolina, and, well, we all know how that went. But Mark Robinson, that was because of a huge scandal. That was such a big scandal that completely threw everything out of whack. That's why it went down in flames as bad as he did. But Andy Biggs, meanwhile, he served in the Arizona House of Representatives for years. He was in the Arizona Senate. Hell, he was actually the president of the Senate in Arizona. And ever since 2016, which is the first time he got elected into office and for Congress, he's outperformed most Republicans every single year. Every year, Andy Biggs has outran basically every Republican outside of, like, maybe Doug Ducey and maybe John McCain when they won by like 15 points. Outside of that, he has overperformed Republicans in basically every single race. All right, again, it's not a perfect comparison. In fact, you could argue Andy Biggs is so good every time because, well, Democrats have ran really no one here, which I'm not denying. Like, yeah, that's true. But at the same time, if Andy Biggs was underperforming Republicans like 10 points every year, that would be a big problem. Like, okay, yeah, that could be a big problem. But based on his prior results where he's outrunning Republicans by a couple points here, a couple points there, how can you say he's unelectable? I mean, I know this is a very unique district. It's a bit more Mormon, which for those that don't know, there are a bunch of Mormons in Arizona, which Andy Biggs, by the way, he is a Mormon, and these voters, they don't really like Trump, which I would argue is another reason to support him. He actually would do all right with the Mormon vote, which in recent years has become must win, or actually they still win them, but Republicans have to do way better with them to win a place like Arizona. So wouldn't you want to run someone like Biggs, who at least has some kind of appeal with these voters? I mean, wouldn't you want to do that? And on top of that, Andy Biggs is an America First Republican. He is someone that the Trump base would support. Do you think they would vote for Robeson? I know Trump is probably going to back Robeson, which I think's dumb. But do you think the average Trump voter that voted for Lake in the primary in 22 or whatever, do you think they would vote for Robeson in a midterm? Do you really think that's going to happen? I have doubts, but, like, I'm not saying she's going to lose, but do you think they're going to all vote for her? I have my doubts about it. And we just keep going. It's like, wait, even if Andy Biggs underperforms Robeson by a point or Yee by 3 or whatever, well, do you think that means Biggs loses? Honestly, does anyone really think Biggs loses because, he said something about abortion 5 years ago? Do you think that's going to cost him the race? Do you think that's going to make him lose by 20? It depends what he does in his campaign. A lot could change, but if he underperforms Robeson by a point and Yee by 2, and let's say Yee wins by 7 or whatever, or 5, let's just say 5 points. Okay, Biggs wins by 3 points. Who gives a shit? Who cares if Biggs wins by 3 and Yee wins by 5? Who cares? I mean, does anyone really care about a 2-point difference? If you're gonna win, if you're gonna win by basically the same margin, I would rather have the more conservative option. That's just common sense. But these people, they don't think like that. They just think, oh, Andy Biggs is conservative, he's gonna lose by 20. No, he's not. I think right now he could win. I mean, Hobbs is unpopular, no one likes her. Andy Biggs, he has a long track record of actually doing good in Arizona. And I know it's a unique district, I understand that. But the more you look at this, the more apparent it becomes that, oh, wait, Andy Biggs is actually, he's not going to win by 30, but he's not like a Kerry Lake tier candidate, which, by the way, Kerry Lake lost by half a point. If he's just slightly better than Lake, he probably wins against Katie Hobbs, who has gotten more unpopular. So what's the point? If you're gonna pick the winner of the primary no matter what, whether it's Yee, Andy Biggs, and or Robeson, why won't you go with Biggs, who's the most conservative option? In fact, there's a primary poll right now where Andy Biggs is a clear frontrunner. He is winning by 20. So it's like, and I know this is a primary poll, but if he's already uniting the Republican base behind him, and this was before he announced, by the way, what's the point against voting against Biggs? If he's probably going to win because of Hobbs being a shit candidate, which again, we gotta see what Lake does, or Biggs does, because let's be honest, Andy Biggs could still F up and lose this race. But Arizona in recent years has become more and more Republican. Trump won it by 5.5. Voter registration looks damn good here. And it looks like whoever wins a primary is probably going to win anyways. Like, Biggs might underperform a little bit, but who cares? Who cares if he underperforms by 2 and he still wins by 3 or 2 or 3 points? Who cares? That's still a victory, and you're getting someone far more conservative than Taylor Robeson, than Kimberly Yee. Who I have nothing against Yee, by the way. I just think that Andy Biggs, under the current circumstances, is the best option. But we got to see what happens. I know the criticism against Biggs, there's some legitimacy there. I understand that. But if we're going to play this game of abortion or unelectability or like, oh, Yee did so good, you can't just ignore, you cannot ignore what Ropes said about abortion. You cannot ignore the fact Biggs has been in Arizona politics for like 20 years now. He's overperformed every year, and I know it's a legislative race. That's not the same as Yee running for statewide office, but still, there's some kind of comparison to be made because Biggs has shown he can win. It's not like he underperforms Trump by 15 points. But we shall see what happens. Anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy, smash the like button down below. Subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell. Follow the social media accounts in the description down below. And of course, join the channel today. Godspeed to all of you.